If there was one thing I could expect to occur consistently in my childhood town, it'd be him. Tourmaline Falls is known by a majority for one thing: the tourmaline. We are in a mining town, but a bulk of the wealth of this place is a result of said mineral. We are also known for a lesser, more terrifying thing, and that's the man in the suit. Often, good things don't come easy, and that was just as true for the town I lived in for a majority of my early life. The man in the suit. Every year, without fail, on the exact same day and the exact same time, he'd be there, waiting. Unless you were over 18, your age simply did not matter to him. Whether you wanted it or not, he was going to take you. The first and only time I really remember this tradition having any impact on me was when the suited man took my best friend. We were only 12. We were only 12. I had always heard my parents whispering and talking secretly about when he would come next. Often, they worried about me and my younger brother. What if he tries to take Ben? What if he tries to take Alan? I don't know. Even if he didn't show it often, my father did love me and Alan. Should the event transpire, he would do everything in his power to try and stop it. I just wish his efforts could have been rewarded with something else. When it was a leap year, he came on July 2nd, July 1st, any other time. Anyways, either one of those days at exactly 12 p.m., he could come, find who he needed, take them, and leave. Without fail, he would make his way through the entrance to Tourmaline Falls while tapping his cane on the ground, his silvery monocle reflecting the summer sun. Every time it happened, my parents, as well as every family in town, would lock their doors and just, to put it simply, bunker down and wait it out. It was the first, and Mikey had just arrived at my house for what we thought was going to be a spectacular sleepover. Finishing up lunch, our first course of action was going to go upstairs and play whatever we wanted to on my PlayStation. About 2 hours into our gaming session, we heard, clear as day, from downstairs. Knock, knock, knock. Mikey looked over at me with questioning eyes. Is someone else supposed to be over today? My heart thumped in my chest like a drum. Nobody was supposed to come over today except for him. What was I going to say? I don't think so, man. I mean, maybe. Him and I had just started the habit of cussing, only when our parents couldn't hear. Maybe it's a surprise visit? You never knew. Before he could finish speaking, my bedroom door burst open, my mother and father being the culprits behind it. Alan, who was only 8 at the time, stood between them. My father spoke first. Are you two all right? Mikey and the floor appeared to be glued to each other, and it seemed like his lips were in a similar state. I spoke for the both of us. Yeah, we are. Did you hear it? Yes, he said, turning to our mother. I knew it would happen someday, but Lord, it's so much harder when it's one of your own. I was honestly surprised that it hadn't hit me up until that moment. But I realized it could have been any one of us 3 kids in there that day. I didn't know if it was going to be me Mikey or Alan. And that terrified me. Looking back on it, I feel selfish for wanting it to take anyone but me. But I was 12 and I was scared of a monster. Before any of us could let out another word, bang, bang, bang. 3 loud consecutive knocks came from the door. He wanted to get inside, but my dad wasn't going to let him do that. He yelled. I had never seen him this rattled or angry before. You 4 stay up here. I'm going downstairs. I'm going to deal with him. Before us kids or my mother could stop him, my father was already halfway down the stairs. If I didn't think him a man capable of walking, I might have seen him slip and fall down the polished steps. We stood at the threshold of the staircase, awaiting whatever came next with bated breath. I looked up at my mother, who had positioned herself to be in front of us. Mom? I asked, anxiety creeping over me. What's Dad doing? She looked down at me, and I saw fear on her face. One of the scariest things a child can witness is not the horror itself, but the fear extending to an adult. My mother was well and truly terrified, and that terrified me even more. Sweetie, I think he's trying to get him to go away. I had suspected as much. I thought Dad was a fighter. I thought he wasn't going to let this go easily. I heard as much from downstairs. Leave us alone! Knock, knock, knock. I said, leave us alone! Knock, knock, knock. Go away! I'll come out there myself and make you go away! Knock, knock, knock. By this time, my father had screamed himself hoarse and was running out of options. In all fairness, what could he do? We knew nothing of the man in the suit. He had no name, no age, nothing that gave anything away about him or his history. My father, tired and defeated, only uttered one last sentence before walking away from the door. Who? Who do you want? Who are you here to take? Tap, tap, tap. To this day, I'm not sure I've heard a sound more gut-wrenching, more terrifying than the one that came from the other side of the door. In an otherworldly, inhuman voice, the man in the suit finally spoke. I'm here for the boy. My father looked up at us with both relief and fear in his eyes. If I had to guess, he was likely relieved at the chance that it wouldn't be one of his sons. He looked back at the door. Which one? The one in the white shirt with the green sleeves, up the stairs. The one with the curly blonde hair. Mikey, who was on his hands and knees next to me, began to shake. No. I looked over at him, my heart rate steadily rising. Mikey. My father walked up the stairs and looked at Mikey. Mike, I'm sorry, Mikey. I can't. I need to do this. Mikey began to hyperventilate. He turned around and crawled forward, trying to get away from my father. I looked at my father, who was at the top of the stairs now. Dad? You're not going to... You know. He looked down at me, sorrow lining his face. I care more about you and Alan than nearly anything in the world. I wish there was another way, but I just don't know, son. But what if there was another way? What if he doesn't need to get taken? I pleaded, grabbing onto him. By this time, the tears were already making their way down my face. He brushed me off. I'm sorry, Ben. Before he could get over to Mikey, something diverted our attention back downstairs, back to the door. Crash! He had broken down the door. He had broken the door down. A deafening silence overtook the entire house, the only thing any of us could hear being his footsteps as his dress shoes made contact with our steps. Clomp, 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 right up the stairs. My father joined me, Alan, and our mother. We looked as he made it to the top of the stairs. I was paralyzed with fear, as I suspected the rest of my family was. He shot us a cursory glance before looking over at Mikey. "You." His voice sounded unholy. "You're going to come with me. We're going to a good place, you and I. You're not going to miss it here." Mikey wasn't crying anymore. In fact, I couldn't hear a sound from him. And I didn't hear a sound from him as the man walked up to him, swooped him up in his arms, and carried him down the stairs and out of our home. Just like that, my best friend was gone. Mikey's remaining family moved out pretty soon after that. I don't blame them. Who could stay in this place after something like that happened? It's been 5 years since then. Nothing has changed too much. I mean, nothing has changed besides the yearly kid going missing. That's how the town reported it anyway. It took me a good while to forgive my father for what happened that day. I knew that my father did the very best he could considering the circumstances. He couldn't have known what the man was going to do. I understand now that he was simply looking out for us, but I think a small part of me will always resent him for it. I can't help but feel nervous this year. Nothing has happened to me in the past 5 years. But I made it all the way to 17 without anything happening. July 1st is in 11 days. God knows what'll happen when he comes again. I've always thought about what it might be like to be taken. But now that it might have an actual chance of happening, it scares me much more than thinking about it. There's one thing I forgot to mention before. If he chooses to take you, there's one way you can tell. People who've been taken reported hearing a sound similar to someone walking on a hardwood floor while wearing dress shoes. Every year, a man in a suit comes to my hometown to take someone. This year, I think it might be me. Because as I write this out, I can hear the sound of dress shoes on hardwood. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. A quick shout out to my patrons, Old Penguin, Rinku Star, Melissa Perez, Icy Narrates, Seven Cities Journalist, Cupcake Hips, Eric Cifuentes, Alonso, Austin My Love, Ellie Hutmeyer, Jesse Hartley, Lawrence Wallen, Mr. Sankofa, and William Hartley. I always try to link a different charity in the description, so go ahead and check that out. I'm also going to start having more things on my Patreon soon, so keep your eyes peeled. And as always, I'd love to know how I can be praying for you, so go ahead and drop a comment and let me know how I can do that. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you in the next video.